9th century, 8th century, 7th century, I don't know when. They're there at the time that we're writing it. It's not God saying that they're there even now, because they were there back. God doesn't say they're there now. Men say that because they're writing after the fact. So that's another proof for, I hate to be cruel, but that this is not a divine book in that sense, and the authors don't mean it to be. So the people say this is the Word of God. I mean, it is maybe inspired by God, but nobody said every word in it is God. They're there even now means they're there at the time we are writing this book. And there's lots of material like that that we will see in this book, and we've seen a bit of it previously. Anyway, so the priest took the ark. Gee, I thought they already went through. Let's see, and then in line 317, and they'd finished crossing the river. In 4, they're back crossing the river again. That's because of the splicing. I think we help the text by taking away these contradictions, by showing that editors have put different text lines side by side and haven't been able to change the narrative because they felt the material was so holy. So this text has, the priest came last after all the people had crossed, line 12, and there were 40,000 warriors, and they crossed before Yahweh, ready for battle on the plain of Jericho. And Yahweh made Joshua great before Israel. They honored him as they had honored Moses as long as he lived. This is very pro-Joshua. Joshua, tell the priest carrying the ark to come up from the Jordan. And Joshua says, come up from the Jordan. And when the priest carrying the ark had come out of the Jordan, and they touched the bank, the waters returned. So the ark was so holy that the water stopped. So you got 2 different text lines, at least here, maybe 3. Anyway, whatever you want to make of it. On the 10th day, line 19 of the first month, they know exactly when it was. The 10th day of the first month, which is in the Passover time, the people came up from the Jordan, made their camp at Gilgal. There it is. Gilgal is the place that this is. As for the 12 stones that they took from the Jordan, it's not in the mid-Jordan. They took them from the Jordan and put it on the side. They set them up at Gilgal. Okay, that's the 3rd tradition, and that is the tradition of the shrine, obviously there at Gilgal, where Joshua first camped, and that would be always associated with his first camping, Gilgal, near Jericho. And tell the children in the days to come, when they ask their father, what's the meaning of the stones? This is where the children of Israel crossed dry shod, just like the Red Sea. And Yahweh, your God, did what he did, like the, yeah, it even says it, just as the sea of reeds. And then the people will know that with a mighty hand that you stand in awe of the Lord your God, that he does these things. So the people of the land, chapter 5, are very upset at what's going on here, sort of like Palestine today. But I don't think the Israelites are of one mind like they were today as they were back then. There seemed to be a lot of confusion and disagreement. But this is portraying everything as if it's all agreed. I don't know if it was then either. Anyway, in the country west of the Jordan, all the kings of the Canaanites had heard what was happening, and they grew faint. So here's another travelogue location, line 3. Yahweh said to Joshua, make flint knives and circumcise the Israelites again. What, they weren't circumcised in the desert? Because there's a hill called the Hill of the Foreskins. So Joshua did this. All the males who had come out of Egypt had died in the wilderness. That's the theory here, line 4. But those born in the wilderness had not been circumcised, so it says. Well, that's the first we've heard of that. Why is that? Because that's the tradition of the Hill of the Foreskins. Some travel. Have you ever had a travel guide who makes up stories as he goes? you know, these tribal guys are crazy. And they're trying, hey, you see that hill over there? That's called the Hill of the Foreskins. Why is it called the Hill of the Foreskins? Oh, because the children of Israel circumcised themselves there, and they threw all their foreskins on and built a huge hill. It's trouble. It's trouble material, but they have to change the story then to accommodate the tradition. We didn't hear that they didn't circumcise in the wilderness. We didn't even hear that they didn't all survive. But in any case, that is the, so now this is the Hill of the Foreskins. Obviously, it may have been called that for some other reason and took this name, but in any case, that's the presentation that the gatherer of the traditions give us here. They couldn't be circumcised on the journey. Well, that's, you know, that's just not entertaining. So I took the shame of Egypt away, hence it's called Gilgal until now. And I don't understand why the Gilgal has anything to do with stone and with shame. It means circles. Anyway, I have no idea what that is about. So they kept the Passover on the 14th day the way they were supposed to do in the law of Moses. And the manna stopped falling, and they lived off the produce of the country. When they got, which is, Jericho is near the Jordan River. In case you need a map, here's the Dead Sea. This is the Sea of God. The Jordan River runs down between the two seas. And Jericho is here. Jerusalem is here. So it's not that far away. It's only 25 miles distant. And Gilgal probably is right around there. It hasn't been found, is what I know. Some people have been looking for it. Whether they found it or not, I don't know. But it'll be there someplace. Right near Jericho. And this is all a plain here. Very low, below sea level here. And it gets even more so you get down to the Dead Sea. It's a rift, yeah. Jordan Valley Rift, yeah.
Is there anything in nature that could be like manna? I mean, anything would like produce like something?
Yeah, there is supposed to be some sort of plant in the desert that grows overnight, some green moss of some kind that may be what manna is based on. But I can't explain miracles.
There's nothing to do like if they go there's like a...
There is something that does grow overnight in the desert. I've heard about that. I'm not an expert on it, but there is some sort of green sort of vegetable substance that does appear overnight in the desert in some places. But again, I don't know if that's what they're talking about. These are miracle tales, and you can read them as best I can. I don't